Cavecast, the uncensored show for nerds of all kinds.
It's weird that we can even have a real conversation about this, you know, through our YouTube journey where we started, where we're at now, and just the decisions we're making and the fun things that we have planned, the stuff that we can dream about, all that. I definitely did not foresee a second channel, you know, just in our, you know, equation whatsoever, like in the process of us doing YouTube in the beginning, you know, and then, you know, very much until recently, until it was finally like the moment of like, all right, let's pull the trigger and let's make this thing happen. Yeah. So tonight, guys, is really going to be us just giving you kind of a preface look at, you know, what we plan on doing, the videos that we you know, maybe have ready right now. I don't know how like specific we'll get because there are some surprises, but yeah, this is going to be a cool time just to answer questions that we have from our audience, and then also kind of just, you know, take the time to just, you know, go down this rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And just, you know, like, I think that we're going to be able to look back at this a year from now and rewatch this and be like, oh my God, like we did it. Or no, this is completely different from, you know, what we thought was going to happen. So,
you know, I mean, we don't know.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, how do you feel about taking this leap and, you know, making this decision to go, you know, or to say like, all right, man, this is where all these videos are going to go now. This is what we're going to do. Like, what's on your mind with that?
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of scary because it's not just because you have an idea for something doesn't mean it's a good one, or that it's possible, or, you know, all these things. And I knew that wanting to make this other channel was going to take more than just my efforts. It was going to have to be like you involved. And so it was scary because it was like, okay, well, what is, you know, what's the workload going to be like? You know, you still have a full-time job, you know, things like that. So it was scary, but awesome. And I kept going, well, like most of this content that I wanted to, you know, kind of just start with anyways is already being made.
Correct. Yeah.
So it's like, well, instead of having it over here, you know, let's just have this other channel. Let's see if people are willing to, you know, come over and subscribe and watch this other stuff, you know, even first to see if we can do this. And we got a very positive response out of it.
100%.
So,
yeah.
You know, I kept going, no, man, this, you know, like to myself, like, this is a good idea. Like, this is going to work. This works. Like, and I was just trying to like speak it into existence.
Yeah. Manifest it. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And I don't know what came over me. One day I kind of just looked at you as like, look, let's make sure we focus on this weekend, you know, kind of trying to give you some time to like, you know, think about it as well, and not just be like, hey, tonight, let's do this, but
sure,
you know, have this time and see what we could really come up with. Cause we had threatened to do this for so long and bouncing ideas off of each other. I think I was just thinking like, we've already bounced the ideas. Now it's time to see if they really work.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I think that, you know, again, like to be very straight up with you guys, and I mean, Eric knows this, was that, you know, I was resistant against a second channel only because of not knowing the practicality of what was ahead of us. You know, because it's like, I know that, you know, it's like my mentality of YouTube is that I'm an analytic guy. Like I pay attention to like, you know, just seeing, you know, the spikes and the dips and looking at, okay, you know, people didn't engage on this. Okay, let's try this, or like whatever. And to open up a new channel is scary. It's something where it's like, man, like you essentially take a leap, you know, and it's that whole, you know, living dangerously thing. And it may not seem like it's that, you know, big of a deal, but producing content is a lifestyle. And when you start to add in different things or try different stuff, you know, it can sometimes feel like it's too much, even though it's very practical in the way that we do things.
Right.
And that's what's really kind of interesting about this. And we're going to get into specifics of how we're going to bring content to you guys, you know, not only the schedule we hope to do, which could evolve, but also the fact of just, you know, the ability that we have to be able to, you know, bring content consistently, you know, between the two of us, and also individually. So that's going to be the fun part, I think, to throw some things out there.
Yeah. And the thing is that, you know, the more that we talked about, and I also had to think about, is that, you know, yes, we do have gaming on rykerroad, and that is going to be a small part of this other channel on the Detour.
Yeah.
So it's the fact of, we kind of swapped out gaming and food videos for each other. So we had 6 videos a week on Riker Road that were music, and then, this other thing. So really the only, I guess, necessity that had to be put in place was one more video on Riker Road. And that's not for nothing. That's 20 more minutes out of a day.
It's really not much.
So it's not going to really take that much more time. I argue the fact that it's less time than to film the other thing that we were going to do, but we're still doing those other things.
Correct.
So we were, again, so the time frame really doesn't make that big of a difference, but going about the individual stuff that we'll get into later, there's some things, guys, that we might be doing and stuff like that. So that could be different, but that's also on our own time frame.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I think that's essentially going to give us just a really good playground to try some stuff, because we've talked about it before, but really being a content creator is throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. And that's I think that's going to be kind of our mission statement for a little while, of just like, let's just see what happens. Like let's try this thing. Like we're not depending on this channel. We're not like in the case of like, well, we got to be sure we have 2 incomes. Like the channel is not even monetized right now. So it's like we're kind of actually
losing money.
Yeah, in a way. Yeah.
In a sense that, because I said, hey, let's open up this other channel. So for a while, like, guys, like, we're actually kind of losing money in a sense, if you will.
It's but I don't know, like it's an interesting, push and pull, because it's one of those where it's like, you're investing in it, but it's we're kind of in the stage right now of like, guys, I swear the band is going places. Okay. It's like, that's kind of how I feel, but also in the same
Stay tuned.
Yeah. It's hopefully, things work out in the long run. But I want to get into the questions, because I really think that they're going to help us push through and answer some specific things that we need to definitely address. So starting off with Queen Phantom's King on Discord. He asks, what's the main purpose behind making it? You guys have grown so much, and it's amazing to see you guys branch off on the little side stuff that doesn't include music reactions. Too many reactors have the one channel clogged with a bit of everything, and it's unorganized, but this will make it all nice and smooth. So, first off, thank you for that very specific question. That's almost like he wanted to start the podcast or something. So, but to answer your question is that the purpose of the channel is to post all the things that aren't reactions.
Correct.
So, yeah.
I mean, and the thing is that like they said about, having a clogged channel, that's what I didn't want. It was getting to the fact of, we enjoyed to do these other little things. And, we were putting it on, on Riker Road, and that was great. But that's where I kept thinking, I'm like, no, man, like, really should put it on another channel, because it's fighting analytics and it's fighting RPM, and it's, some people don't give a shit about it over here. So like, maybe they don't want to watch it. It's like it was all of these things that I was thinking about. And I kept saying something to you. I was like, hey, what if we do this? And you're like, yeah, it's a good idea. I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I just don't want to puke a bunch of stuff on one channel that isn't, at the end of the day, we're a reaction channel. We're the brothers that react to shit. I say it every fucking episode.
Right.
So to throw in all this other stuff, I'm like, no, I don't want to turn people off. So to answer your question is, yes, that was a big thing, is I didn't want it to be a clogged channel.
Yeah.
And also, I thought it just might be fun to have another channel, just to see, let us see what Squirt does, but yeah, so that's the long story short,
right? To make a long story fucking long. Yeah. So when it comes to like reiterating, guys, like, because some people have asked the question of like, oh, what movies are you going to react to, whatever. Like, and this is a very, very specific thing. Understand, the Detour is not the place for reactions
at all.
It's because I at the very most, I talked about, like the footage that, I guess we'll jump into the whole individuals thing. We like, taking the moment to like take a second to vlog, like say that we're watching a movie that you've never seen or something. And then I can, sneak a, like I know a part's coming up that you're going to freak out on or something, and then, capture that, but also, capturing, the process of what I do creatively, and like, all right, I'm making scary stories. This is what I'm doing today. This is the voice I'm working on, or like, different things like that. And, also just filming fun stuff,
Right.
and we both have the freedom to be able to collect our own footage and edit them and upload them individually.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the part that I'm really excited for. Just to be able to have, kind of a, another loaded gun in a way where it's kind of like, what, let's make sure that they have content this week. Let's give them something.
Yeah.
So
and the thing is that, when we were talking the one night and I was like, yeah, how many days a week, you think we should upload, and we agreed on a number and, maybe some sprinkles here and there of other things. But, I was like, okay, well, that means, this gaming thing and then the food thing. And you kept going, well, it doesn't just have to be food related and gaming, or what'd you say? And I'm like, well, no, it's the detour. And you kept going, you said it's everything but reactions, so it can be everything but reactions. And I was like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
So like I kept putting myself in this box of specific certain things still are only over here. And it's, while it is, it's not. And that's where it came into play with like our individual vlogging, or maybe like you wanting to post something that you just wanted to talk about or make. Like, I think that that's really cool that it gives us now both that freedom and that like kind of artistic standpoint that we can do on our own and just see what people like. And I don't know if we already touched on this or not, but like, if kind of find out what we can do and what people want to see.
Yeah, that's the other thing about this, is that we know that people have enjoyed the food videos. We know that people have enjoyed the gaming videos. Even on the old Ryker episode that we uploaded, people were engaged and they were like, "Oh my God, I remember this game." Because somebody was even like, "Oh, like I haven't played this in forever. Like you're making me feel nostalgic." And like, dude, like Doom is so close to my heart that it's just like to see that, like it genuinely made me just have a warm smile inside and out. I was like, wow, like that's really awesome, and it's just the fact that people are just wanting this is the other thing that I think that we're also trying to, wrap our heads around. Like, it's just, like we say it all the time where it's like, we're not interesting. We're very boring. We're homebodies.
This is the most interesting thing that we do.
Yeah, right. Seriously, it's like, because I mean, besides like, like playing Call of Duty and calling people aggressive names or something, like this is about as dynamic as it gets. Like this is where the house is alive. This is where the house, is like each room has its purpose, and like we're at the end of the day, we're content creators. I just don't see, the fascination that, it's like that people would have for us. But regardless, I mean, it's like
Here we are.
They want it. So I mean, it is what it is, So. Let's get into some specifics. So when it comes to the individual content, I think that you and I have 2 to 3 things, I think each, or whatever, that like different stuff that we could individually post. So kind of take us through like the stuff that you're thinking about and what you would like to try.
Well, yeah, it's more so in the fact of like, I think just like, not daily vlogging, but it's more so like a little more like, a day in the life sometimes, or, things like that. Also with the, the how many bites, stuff like that, to where will you be on all of them? Probably not. You'll be in, I would say, most of them if you want. We
will cross paths, or it'll be like, I'll sit on this one or something. Yeah,
but it's gonna be that the shut up and eat it, the gaming, but also just that whole like we were talking about earlier, the kind of just behind the scenes, or a what we've done that week or something like that, to where, or like just something cool when you go out and just like have an adventure. You've kind of sparked an interest in me of like maybe some like driving vlogs of like what was on my mind, because it could be interesting to see like what's been on your mind compared to what's been on my mind. So just it's gonna be just kind of not sporadic, but like it's gonna be a little bit of everything, I feel like.
Yeah, and I think that what's interesting is that we're basing these ideas off of things that we've already done. Now, you guys may think to yourself, okay, well, driving vlogs, that's cool, but I've never seen either of you do a driving vlog. Well, on my old channel on Kyle Wright 425, that was something that I did a lot. because that's when I was throwing anything I possibly could at that channel before I finally was like, all right, no, it's this, like, and then it changed to the campfire, and it's like, no, this is scary content. Like this, I'm just going to focus on that. And yeah, it's just it's interesting because we kind of have in some ways a backlog of old content that we can kind of release to help us get on our feet. Like, for instance, like right now I'm prepping to go to Colorado, so it's one of those where like I'm going to be gone for a certain amount of time, and like making sure that stuff is covered. We've also got 3 episodes of High on Life that are done. We're working on more as weekends come. So it's just like we have the ability to give you guys some old content like we did with the old Riker Road episode.
But that will eventually end.
Yeah. So what I will say is I won't spoil what it is, but the second video is something new.
Yes,
it's that is something that will be very fresh, and that's
should we talk about like upload amount?
Yeah, let's cover that.
Yeah,
because understand, guys, is that there will probably be some weeks that there will be more content.
Correct,
but in the same hand, as a basis, we think we may have something figured out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
We did talk about it, guys, and the fact of we don't want this to be. Well, not that we don't want it to be, but the fact of like time frame and everything, it cannot be 7 days a week like Riker Road. It can't.
No.
Like there's no way. So we came to the conclusion 2 uploads a week with the kind of like how Kyle does now with the like I'll make some shorts and stuff to kind of like cover what's been up and as far as like a full length video, and then the occasional 3 like third video in there or something like that. Maybe a 4th if you get lucky every once in a while, but no, for the most part 2, sometimes 3.
Right.
And I think for right now, that's just the way it's got to be, number one, because Kyle still is full time at work. This is more than just say hi to a camera and upload.
Correct.
It takes a little more than that, but hopefully you guys will stick around and enjoy the content that we do show.
Yeah, because I think that there's also something kind of genius about what we've done, which I think this may be a little bit of a brief kitchen talk that will come in here because it just popped in my mind. But we do our best to record 2 to 3 gaming episodes every other week. And it's one of those that, with the schedule that you have of when you're here and when you're not here and stuff, that's just how it's landed on, like that we would try to make sure we had at least 1 gaming video a week for Riker Road. Now, did that always work out because of new reaction or new like songs and stuff like that, where we had to like either
bump it
or or because like performance was really poor, like we cannot afford to do a gaming video. Like, so it's like, it didn't always follow that formula. But the cool thing about the detour is that we can give you a gaming episode a week, so it's like, that's pretty wild. So
unless something like drastic happens with like an episode or something, which will happen, it is going to happen. It just like it has on Riker Road. I do not expect this to just run super smooth and not have any hiccups. Like I know it's going to. So, but anyways,
it's I look at it in this way where it's just like, okay, so we both have the ability to individually vlog whenever we want. We have the ability to release at least 1 gaming video a week.
Yep.
And we also want to hone into the possibility of doing more, like actual like physical games of like, okay, let's play What'd You Say, like with our headphones. Let's, maybe we get a night where we can play Quiplash on the TV or something. And it's like, it's just, again, figuring out like how to practically record these things and do them. Literally our limit is our imagination and our ability. So it's just, I personally think, as I had the mic, I personally think that we're going to be able to cover enough, even if it just ends up being 1 gaming video a week for a week or 2 or something, where it's like content will still be able to come out. We're like,
it'll be alive enough.
So yeah. And it's because that's one thing we've learned is being able to have a pulse. Cause like, that's, even like when AJ has shown me his analytics or has talked about stuff and I'm like, dude, like your channel's alive.
You're right.
Like, so like people are, there's traffic on it. People are wanting to see it. And that's essentially what we want to recreate. And to do that, you have to upload consistently.
Correct.
So yeah.
And that's what I was worried about with that quote consistency is the fact of, well, it's only 2 videos. It doesn't matter if that's what you're for the time being, if that's what your schedule is, that's what your analytics and your channel is going to be essentially based off of.
Yeah.
Yes, arguably adding more videos a week will help you, the 7 days a week, but if you can't, keeping a consistency for your audience is what's going to be key.
Yeah.
People always ask us all the time, like, well, how do you guys do this? Or what's the key to success? There isn't one, but it is that. It's just so that people know that on Mondays and Thursdays you uploaded this, or a Sundays and Fridays you do that. Like, they know where to be on that time and that day.
Yeah.
So
for sure,
that's where I'm hoping that this follows suit and that everybody does enjoy, and that it is enough for them as far as uploads and what they want out of it.
For sure. Yeah. And there's actually a really good question that Endgame has on Discord, because this goes into the food mentality. Endgame says, so when you say food, do you mean like the food videos that are normal that you do, or something else that, and what would it be? So Shut Up and Eat It, the
how many
bites, those will definitely be some, but I don't want to say cooking episodes,
right?
Where it's like, this is not going to be Gordon Ramsay, showing you how to make the best steak sandwich.
Maybe we're outside grilling or something, or there was some other things where it doesn't even have to be a how many bites or a extravagant shut up and eat it. People were talking on TikTok the other night, and it's maybe even just things like this where somebody said, or Jason said something about Swenson's, and people were like, well, what's Swenson's? Because that isn't everywhere. Like,
right.
We could just go and be like, hey guys, this is what this is. People were talking about it. Like, that's the kind of stuff that food related. There's so many things we can do with it. We have a base of what we do with it, though.
Correct.
So I think that asking that question is kind of cool, because to actually answer it, we're gonna have all kinds of stuff. I feel like it's kind of the sky's the limit.
Well, because the main thing that is exciting to me is to be able to take like cooking videos, in my opinion, like making them shut up and eat it level, where like I like have a camera in my hand and I feel like you would be the one cooking, because like you're the main one that is the best at it. So it's just like, to me, like I think that that's the stuff where it's like maybe we grill like very random meats or something where it's all right, we got a hold of some bear meat, or we have like just like something that's just completely off the wall. Like we're very careful with this, but this is the one thing that I am excited about, but I'm also cautious with, is that it's like, okay, like we have the ability to kind of share our lives, and to be able to show some certain things, and to, give some windows into things, so like if we can present that in a really cool way, or cinematically, or anything like that, like that to me is fun, but there is a limit, though, and we've talked about that, where it's like, we're not going to try and document our entire life here. No, this is not the Paul brothers. This is not. It's not going to be that.
There is a fine line on what is for creative purpose and what is for personal. And and I think that will take us both a minute to kind of maybe tweak a little bit, but I think nonetheless we will figure it out.
Yeah, and I think that realistically, like probably what will show up more for me, and again, we'll be able to look back at this in a year and be like, oh my God, like you're an idiot, or he was right, or whatever. But I think that driving vlogs are probably where my consistency is going to be on the detour, because they're just so easy to make. So
I kind of had a feeling that's why I don't mean it like this, guys. But that's why I told you, like, man, upload what you want, whatever you feel like, because it's just anything but reactions. So I told him, guys, is that what I was worried about? I didn't want to put more on Kyle's plate with this being, quote, my other channel. Kyle is a part of that, but for me to be like, make sure you do 3 driving vlogs a week for me, and like, no. But if you wanted to. And I figured you were going to want to do things like that, but I didn't want to assume. But I figured, look, man, you've got a lot of creative things up here. And you were talking about that with like the Kyle Wright 425. We're like, these driving vlogs and some of this other stuff. You're like, I just didn't know where to put it. And it's like, dude, yes, put it here if you want to. That's up to you.
Right. Dude, that was actually the one thing I did like about the state of my channel at that point, was that it was like, okay, like sometimes I can upload a scary story, sometimes I can do this, and there was kind of a normality that was built into me that like I figured out how to make them efficiently and make them quickly. And it was like, okay, like if I am able to drive on lunch every single day, because that's usually whenever I would do it, like I just pop my phone on my dash and I push record, I start my car, and then drive around, do my thing, and then stop the car, stop the recording, and now it's like I have something to work with. It was
right.
It was this mundane task that I do every single day, and it was adding the ability to be productive in that. So to me, I kind of like that setting. I like when people do that, especially if it's like a road trip video or things like that. So there's also something else that we have talked about that, there is no promises. Nothing is scheduled. This is in dreaming stage right now, but we have talked about the possibility of going to some haunted locations. Yes. And doing
that
some investigations or something,
Yep.
So when we think about that, obviously this comes into the practicality of us having a budget, being able to like either stay somewhere for the night or having the gas to get out there, things like that. But let's just say sky is the limit. For right now, what are some like haunted places you'd want to check out? Because we've talked about some, but maybe they'll just be reiterated. But like, what are some places you'd want to check out?
I mean, it is going to be a reiteration, but it's going to be the Mansfield prison.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, we can kind of do whenever, but the Lizzie Borden house and the Conjuring house for sure. Yeah. It's going back to that whole mindset of, I'm not saying that they aren't haunted and all this stuff, but I'm just saying like they wouldn't allow people to go there if it was that dangerous. So I'm not worried about it. I think it'll be cool to kind of have that, like, not skeptic, because I'm not skeptical about these things, but the harder to impress when it comes to that than maybe like you would be. So I think that has a cool dynamic, almost like our reaction videos, the rap guy and the hip hop guy or the metal guy. So like, we've kind of got these two different dynamics there. So that could be something. That excites me, because that is something that I know for sure can go somewhere else now, and it's not on the Ryker Road channel. Yeah. And I hope we get to do this kind of stuff in the future. Yeah. Those are the three that I mainly have like focused on, just as far as like knowing that they are a real thing that you can do, and two, that they are kind of fucked. So So hopefully
there's actually there is a haunted I would say section of woods that's near where we live, kind of like, it's like, I would say like, I don't know, like half hour, 45-minute drive or something. And I've had some pretty crazy experiences there. There's even a scary story on my channel about what happened, so it's like, I mean, there's something.
Hell, maybe we can just go out there with some fucking camera footage and just fucking kick it.
Look, dude, I'm
don't be a bitch.
I know I'm going to be a bitch 100%. And the difference is that like, I kind of look at that where it's like me getting on a roller coaster where the whole time I'm going up the hill, I'm going to be squirming and like, no, I don't want to do this. And then when I'm through my second loop, I'm screaming, bring it on, So like, but again, it's like, that's something that I agree. I think that the dynamic of it, because we even kind of dreamed about like, okay, let's say that we go to the Conjuring house, and it's that thing where it's like, okay, we're going to go to separate places in the home. It's like, which one do you want? And I'm like, I'm not taking the basement. I'm going upstairs. So like,
I'll go to the fucking basement.
Yeah. So like but there's also the part of me that it's like, oh God, I think there's actually worse entities that are actually in the bedroom. So I'm like, I don't know, so like, it's like,
no, I called the basement.
We'll draw straws. So it's like, you cheated. No, but I don't know. Like I want to like add a twist to it, and I want to do something different. Like there's a part of me that thinks, what if I just go up there and play music? And just like, like do different stuff or whatever.
Don't piss it off if you play something that it doesn't like.
Yeah, well, I mean, they need to get with times, man. They've been around. They've been listening to radio.
And you're the one telling me don't antagonize them, motherfuckers.
I'm not. I am going to sing some just really good, sweet songs. No, but like, so like seeing if we can make anything happen.
Sure.
So like just like throwing some, different things out there. Like, maybe it's one of those where like, all right,
Meg is totally down, by the way. Like she will 100%, like she's all in this.
Because could you imagine all three of us with cameras just walking around?
But that's what I think would be awesome.
Yeah. It's to me, I think that, that opens up, the ability for us to not only, record it and do it and, put it online, but also the fact that like we can talk about it on the podcast after the fact, and go a little deeper of like, okay, this is like what happened when the cameras weren't on,
right?
Or whatever. Like, I mean, who knows? But again, those will not be a consistent thing. That would probably, like, I would say with like our capability right now, like, like going into the mentality that like we don't want to just travel for YouTube. There's places we want to travel just to travel.
Correct.
You know, which would probably would be vlogged, you know,
well,
but yeah.
Right.
So,
now, what I was going to say is that, you know, I do want to go back to Pittsburgh here very soon, and I will probably vlog if we don't specifically go for a shut up and eat it, but I'm going back to like Permane Brothers and, you know, stuff like that. But like, that's the other thing too, is it's like not just traveling for haunted locations, it is actually traveling for specific like shut up and eat it's and food episodes and stuff. Like that is something I really, really hope to be able to do on a more consistent time frame than, you know, just haunted locations, but the food for sure.
Yeah, because it's
get fat again.
Right. It's for the internet.
Yeah.
It's just it's really wild, man. Like to even just like have the mentality like of just like, wow, like we could like leave the state for a week and like and go do this, and like, you know, it's just, I don't know, like to me it's exciting, it's scary, it's, you know, there's the uncertainty, there's the you know, just the longing that it's like, guys, look at this cool thing that we made, like, look at this thing that we had so much fun with. And that's, you know, I think that that's something that, you know, when it comes to reactions, is that's the tough part, is keeping that flame alive of like, man, like we had such a good time with this, but nobody wanted to watch it.
And it's such a bummer.
So yeah, which, and again, like there's plenty of artists we've wanted to keep going on and we just can't, you know? So it's just, it's interesting.
I think that anything that quote flops, it's not the fact of, oh man, hundreds of thousands of people didn't watch us and we didn't make $50,000 off that episode. No. It's the fact of, we thoroughly enjoy this restaurant or this band or this rapper or whatever, and nobody showed up. Yeah. And nobody went. It is a bummer because it was all done for a purpose, because we really enjoy this and wanted to like show you guys or be with you guys and like kind of experience it together. And, you know, that's the big thing that I keep hearing on TikTok and all this stuff, where it's like, well, it's like hanging out with you guys. Like you're like my cool older brothers, or the uncle that's, you know, that always comes over and hangs out. Like I don't know why, but people just want to do that. So when it doesn't happen, you're like, well, what did I do wrong?
Right.
Like oh, you guys didn't fucking no, what did I do wrong? What do I need to fix?
Right. Because again, sorry, unless you got
no, that's just what do I got to do, because I thought I had it right.
Yeah. Well, and that's a tough thing, is that it's like, it's really hard to even point a finger in that, because it's just like, it's like, okay, like was it YouTube? Was it our titles? Was it, you know, like not enough tags? Was it, you know, just the wrong video? Was it like, it's like,
I mean, could be all of it.
Right. And it's being able to have this new place to put stuff, because we kind of had this conversation the other night where, you know, when we look at how videos perform on rykerroad, we have an expectation because we've seen it. Yeah. And with the Detour, it's all brand new. So it's like, okay, like we're at 600 subs, you know,
and we're like, hell yeah, dude, I love it.
It feels almost kind of like we're just right back at square one again. And I'm just as excited. You know?
I know. I keep coming. I'm like, look, man, I went up another 100. Like, you know,
it's just like, if you guys could see the normal day to day, we're just children. Like that's like that's pretty, like
sure.
We're just like geeking out about it. Like, oh my god, this is happening, and you know, it's, I don't know. Like, to me, I'm very excited for that moment that we do have the aha thing happen. And we're like, this is what we're going to do. You know, this is what we're going to focus on, or like, this is the stuff that, you know, we enjoy doing, because the truth is, guys, is that you get the best content out of us when we're excited, when we're actually having fun. And like, because that's the thing, is that, you know, YouTube is work, and there are days that it definitely feels like work. Like, you know,
today I just got done doing taxes and edited 5 videos.
Yeah, right.
Did not want to do that shit, but I knew we had to record, and my weekend stretch for not being here is coming up, and I had to get shit done, man.
Yeah,
had to fucking put in work, man.
Yeah, and I'm very proud of us in that aspect, because we both have shown up, you know, for things when it was really difficult, you know, and like we've had moments that both of us have had to look at each other where it was like, bro, just focus. It'll be okay. Like if like it's, you know, like we're not perfect. Like, you know, but there's like very specific nights that I remember about myself, like not being, you know, in the right headspace, not, you know, really enjoying anything, you know, and there's just something that happens when record is, hit, and it's like, okay, we're off to the races. It's time.
Right.
And it's not even just the fact that we're on camera. It's the fact that we're on camera because we enjoy music,
100%, man.
And it's cool, man. So like getting to, I think, have a soft reboot for ourselves is something that is really nice, where it's like, okay, no, this is the reboot that's allowed, so like,
right. And do you know how, and I understand people are really nice and not trying to be, but being supportive and all this stuff. But all of these videos, when we were still even busting our ass and trying to do the right thing and, doing the right thing and all this stuff for the original Ryker Road. And I had this vision for the gaming channel and all this stuff. And it just, dude, 17 subscribers and 10 to 12 views, in a day, and all that work I would put in and editing and learning how to edit for the first time and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And nobody would show up. And I wasn't asking for hundreds of thousands of views. I was 100.
Like, could somebody at least comment and be like, that was fun, do more? Like, it was like, no, we didn't get anything like
and
that. Yeah.
To put out an old episode with people that are wanting to come over to see things like this and getting, not immediately, but like hundreds of views, 20 comments, but a bunch of likes compared to like what it would always be like, we were used to not getting. Like, I was like, oh my God. Like it almost made me emotional, like being upset, where I'm like, dude, finally people are watching, because it's so cringy. And somebody even put, they're like, it's not cringy, this is awesome, but dude, it's fucking cringy. But like, we put a lot of time and work and effort into that to try to make something good and to build off of that. And nobody showed up. And now they finally are. And it makes me proud of us. Like you were saying, like, I'm proud of us from what we looked like and what we did and what we've come from to where we are now. Look, we're in a whole other fucking room.
Right. There are 3 studios in the house. It's nuts, dude. Like,
bro, like this is crazy. So
and it's, I think that I definitely have a lot of pinch me moments when it comes to the channel, and it's not just the big things like Ronnie. It's not, just the it's not the minute things of like, oh, that comment, meant a lot. It's like, like I try to pay attention to everything because they're all special. Like, that's one of the things we said about when Ronnie reacted to us was that it was like, nah, dude, that was my paycheck.
It was
like, that was like, it's like,
but then we started to be like, all right, time to get back to work.
Yeah. And that was the moment that I kind of wondered if we were going to like slip and fall a little bit, because we were just like, I can't believe it. Like, it's like, because like, it's so easy to get caught in that because it is awesome. But in the same hand, I
knew we had to. I was like, nah, man, fucking get back on track.
Yeah, for sure. So I want to cover this question. So either Steven or Stefan, sorry if I say your name incorrectly, but on Facebook, he asks, will Eric's spicy pictures take an appearance? Asking for the ladies. So that's, let's be clear. No, that is not the place for that. There is a place, but that's not the place for it. So yeah.
Crankshaft 69, it's your favorite OF or spicy fan page. You know where to find it. But no, that is while I say most, because I've gotten a little ballsy, no pun intended, to posting more, but it is mostly just to be funny and stuff. But even at that, no, that is its own thing. It's got its own Instagram and all that. Like, if you want to find it, you can find it.
Yeah.
The detour, while I might have funny things like that, like maybe I might do an electric callboy outfit from time to time or something, but no, it's not going to be anything like that. But appreciate you asking and bringing it up. But
that's good.
Sorry, ladies.
So just running through some quick things here, because we kind of answered some of these things, but I want to hit as many questions as possible, because we want to make sure you guys, get a straight answer. So Samantha was asking, on Facebook, was that, is it strictly just a gaming channel? No. It's obviously we're doing more than one thing.
Yeah.
Then this is actually something I do want to cover, is also, will you be asking for requests on games? Now,
We've kind of talked about that.
We have. The problem is that which it's not a bad thing because the games are awesome, and even just because we don't specifically play them doesn't make them bad games at all.
We would have to put a stipulation on certain things.
So like people were like, play Elden Ring, play play not Subnautica, but play like big open world stuff, play Skyrim, it's like, guys, we do not have the time to do an open world game.
Right now.
Not right now. And
maybe in a year or two, not if, but when you're full time, that can be a real thing.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to sound like that guy or try to be funny, but like when I moved out of here, because Meg and I are looking to get a house here soon, but when I can come over and play video games for 8 hours a day because that's our work day.
Yeah.
And I know
so weird. Weird to say.
That sounds funny to say, but like, no, guys, that's being for real because that's what would have to happen.
Yeah.
Then we would have that kind of time.
Yeah.
Right now, it's just impossible. Just because it only takes 20 minutes to record a reaction video, it still has to be recorded, then it has to be edited, then it has to have to, uploaded. You have to do 6 more videos of this, and you have to go to work, and then I have my kids, and then it's like there's a lot more that goes to it than just sitting here.
Yeah, and I would say that to be safe, either something to the effect of fighting games, first person shooters,
put a stipulation on it.
Yeah, just or what I would say is dare I say, almost simpler narrative driven games.
Yeah.
Where it's just like you've talked about wanting to play through The Last of Us, for officially play through it, even though you stuff, but you're I want to experience it kind of thing.
I've even thought about and not to just be because I want to just kick everybody's ass, but no, I do know the games enough, and I watched the show and all this, but probably just on easy mode just to go through it.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with, I know how hard the game is. I actually just want to experience having to do some of this stuff myself.
Correct. Yeah.
So if anybody's in here watching and you're this far into it, let us know if you want to see me do that. Kyle would probably help a little bit, but that might be something that I go through on my own.
Yeah.
And just kind of get through quick in a few weeks. But still, that's what we're trying to figure out. And getting requests on games can happen if it's just if it can be done right.
Right.
I guess
it's because it's the idea of where it's it's no different than music, where it's just because it's requested doesn't mean we can do it.
Right.
So and it's a matter of figuring out what's possible. So Marlo actually has a really good question about gaming on Facebook. He asks, will you only be doing one game at a time or start multiple? He also asked, will this be more than one video a day on the channel, which that's not going to happen for algorithm purposes anyway. And he also wants to know about Reels. We've talked about that. Reels, we'll try to get shorts and stuff up. But the main question is, are we going to do one game or multiple at a time? So,
we actually, funnily enough, we've talked about that before, where I don't know. We have this allotted amount of time where even right now with work schedules and kids and, significant others and all this stuff that we work in anywhere from sometimes, 2 to 4 episodes of gaming, on a weekend. And, we've thought about what if we did do 2 High on Lifes and one, not that we're going to do, but I'm just throwing it in, one RoboCop, episode. So we have talked about it. I don't know that it's a set in stone thing, but it's not impossible. I think focusing on one thing at the moment is going to be how we kind of gauge what we can do with it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that to be safe is that, because we kind of did it on rykerroad, but we can do a main story driven game. And then if we want a retro game for a couple of episodes or something.
Correct.
Where it's nah, guys, we're kind of just taking a break. We're going to do something to freshen things up a little bit.
Play some Mario or something.
It's if it also comes down to if you guys want to see me play Doom on Nightmare and eat Carolina Reaper nuts and have to survive. Because at that point where it's we're not here for the story. It's mainly can Kyle multitask while I'm raging on capsaicin. So it's that's that type of thing.
And we still need to do the getting over it, things that. So there is that, but no, it's those could be sprinkled in. But as far as I think you were saying 2 story driven games at the time being right now, no. But I think maybe in the future doing more than one game could be a thing, but I think we need to get our feet wet on another channel. Even though we know what we're doing, this still is brand new.
Yeah, it's honestly, I take the mentality that I don't know what I'm doing. You know, I just kind of do it. So.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to end with this question.
Okay.
And
yeah.
So just to give you guys a little window was that I told Eric before we started, I basically told him all the questions we were going to cover, but I left one that he doesn't know. And this is just really cool just to be able to read this. And then also, you know, it's a very honest question. I think that this is the proof that our audience cares, you know, so it's like, it's just really nice. Joey on Discord asks, are y'all doing okay with the ever building workload? Because I've seen you grow from a couple of bros that hang out to food reviews, to movie reviews, podcasts, scary stories, having guests in all of them. Y'all are growing into a powerhouse. I'm just wanting to make sure that y'all are doing okay mentally, because y'all officially have 4 channels between the two of you. And that's really nice to hear, because, you know, there's a lot of times that when we're doing content that, you know, a comment catches us wrong or something where it's like, we've worked our ass off, and like, it's like they don't understand what it took to even get uploads done that week. And it's like, for you to complain about this, you know, and it's like,
sometimes you just catch me on the wrong fucking morning, dude, and I take the low road and I fucking respond. But to answer your question, no, not really. And I mean that in the fact of, I truly believe this, that I don't think anybody is ever truly okay.
Yeah.
But as far as that question, yes, thank you. And when Kyle said, he's like, it might choke me. I'm like, Jesus, what kind of fucking question is this? But
yeah,
mentally, this is a lot. This is a lot for the both of us. We've both had a lot of things behind closed doors happen, whether it be, you know, personal or even some kind of public, but, you know, things like that. But I feel like my stresses have shifted into different things.
They've really not changed that much. Yeah.
So this workload and these channels are, at least for me, it's kind of like a catch-22. They keep me busy.
Yeah.
But they also kind of impede on my day-to-day life. So I've talked about this before, and I'm not going to stay on it too much, but, you know, I've argued the fact a few times, whether it be on camera or off, that YouTube, I feel like, is the reason that I was in the situation I was in with, like, maybe significant other that I was with prior, and my daughter, and things like that, I've thought, well, maybe if I didn't focus all this time on this would have been different, or, you know, whatever. So like, I've had that mentality, but, you know, either way, you know, this has been something that has grown. And even with that, you know, you think like, oh, well, I'm successful and I'm this and I'm that. It doesn't fucking matter.
No.
I still have really bad days, but we have to make content.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's the fact of, we only let people see what we want them to see. And we only show you the happy times and all of this and rainbows and butterflies. But for somebody to take the time to really ask that question, I know I'm not saying he's the only one, but like, to really ask that question is no, because we do have a lot going on, and this is on top of it. Even if we didn't have channels, plural, we would have all this stress and all of these day-to-day things that we just, I don't know, like, I guess like ponder over, and, you know, everything. And it's just like, it's already a lot. It's both. The channel helps me, but also affects me negatively because of the things that happen. So it's just this weird balance that you dance with.
Yeah.
And I don't know. There's been days where I've really thought about quitting because I'm just like, I'm fucking done, dude. Like,
same.
I don't want, like, this is not, like, I don't want to fucking smile right now.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, I'm not trying to get like super.
No, be legit, man.
But
yeah.
it's just like that. I feel like that, and I don't want to be that person that's the Riker Road's meltdown on fucking live.
Yeah.
Like, but it might happen one day. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, this is a blessing and a curse.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, you know, I get to have all this time, and I'm a stay-at-home dad, and I get to do this for a living. But it's also, this is what I do for a living.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Anyway, sorry guys, I didn't mean to veer off and maybe trail off, and but yeah,
no, dude, that's raw as hell, man. And it's like I don't know if the reaction will be out, and I don't know what you kept in it. I'm going to stop you right there. I cut out a lot, and if you want to cut to me, I'll explain it. Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
That's actually what started today with me not editing on TikTok. That's why I only have 2 left.
Oh yeah.
Guys, I edited "Fall for Me" from Sleep Token. I was not going to do that on live. I was not going to. We both. Well, I should say more so you, but we both had very personal moments in that video, and I did not want that to be public. I cut out a lot, man. Not to like save face for you or anything, but just to kind of cut out more than people needed to see. So I just wanted you to know that. And like, dude, that was
that. Now, what was it like viewing that like again? Because I mean, like,
It was rough, and because I didn't prep the same way.
Yeah.
But I think I got a real, you were gone when I was doing that. And I remember thinking like, thank God, because if I had to do this when somebody else was around, it was going to be bad. But I was just going to stop you before you went into that. Was like, no, I didn't leave a whole lot in, if you know what I mean. I left in what was needed.
Number one, this is also why I appreciate you as the person that you are, because Eric and I have a lot of trust with each other when we do things, because we understand that, you know, like what we do is important, and, you know, that makes me feel a lot better after that, because I was legit in the reaction where I was just like, you know, look, I'm going to say something. If you want to keep it in here, you can. It doesn't matter. But you and I need to have a moment.
Yeah. And I didn't.
I didn't. So just to kind of pull the curtain back a little bit, that song caught me at the worst possible mental health time, guys. Like, yesterday was just not a good day.
Right.
And it's not, I did not have a bad day at work. There was like nothing bad happened. Like
it just happens, man.
It's like, cause like, I know it's like stereotypical, but like you see that meme of the stick figure that is standing tall and proud, and is like, you know, like I think like it's almost like a white stick figure or whatever, like, you know, to show the contrast of what happens is that, you know, it's like, I'm so excited for today. And then you see his chest rips open and this just dark ooze starts pouring out, and he's trying to put it back in. And he's like, no, nothing bad happened. Stop.
Yeah.
And it eventually just floods him, and he's just stuck in it. And that's really what happened yesterday. And
oh yeah, man,
we knew that we were getting kind of into the more intense part of Tomb. And, I just lost my shit. Like it was about like 6 minutes that I had to cut out. Not really? Had to, but wow. And what's funny is I didn't even rewatch it. I knew what was coming, and I already lived through it once. Essentially, I knew kind of where I needed to be to cut out. It was like 6 minutes that I cut out between, you know, I know you had to get up for a second, but that was only like a minute, but like, it was a little while, man. Like that was a like 16-minute video that I think got cut down to like, you know, like 10 or 11 minutes or something. Yeah. Yeah. And it's the reason why I bring that up in light of Joey's, you know, statement question with
fantastic
everything.
Question.
It's seriously like what we do is hard, and we have met opposition of all kinds in the process of doing this, whether it's in person or if it's online. And, to have, that support system is so huge, because there are just some days where it's just like, dude, I just don't want to. And it's like not even the fact of like, I don't want to record. It's that I don't even want to do anything.
Right.
Like I just want to stop. I want everything to just stop. Can I please just have 5 fucking minutes and just think for a second? And, and the weird thing is that it's like, we get that every day, and we do have the ability to stop. It's just like, it's that overwhelming feeling. I feel like it comes in like just at the worst possible moments when we're neck deep in something.
Of course.
Because there's this weird thing where it's like, no matter how I feel before a night of recording, after we're done, I feel like $1,000,000. And I'm like, we fucking did it.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what it was, no matter how it came out, we fucking did it. And, it just like, I don't know, dude, like that fault for me reaction, like that's really special to me, because I think that one of the things I said during that stretch was like, I'm like, if you guys do see this, I'm like, what you just saw was therapy.
Oh, yeah, that was in there.
So like, it was just like that idea of just like, like I was not ready for that. And it opened up a lot of wounds and poured iodine on things that I was just not ready to think about. And, it's, I don't know, like that's what I in a way, I'm kind of relieved that we have this other thing to be able to funnel our minds into, because, it's the idea that, like not every recording is like Fall For Me, or is like, how could you leave us, or is always
right.
like, but in the same hand is that it's like, man, like, knowing that I can just, record, me making Pop-Tarts in the morning, and then, like talking about like just something like that, where like it's a much different dynamic, and, just it's a whole new adventure, man. Like this is something that I don't know what's going to happen. And it's like that, the whole mentality of like, but we've talked about it before, and you've said
how
before, exciting. You don't know what's
Robin
ahead of you,
Williams,
man.
rest in peace, buddy.
Yeah. It's like, dude, like that is something that is so cool to me, because there was never a time in my life that I thought I would ever be in this situation, that we would have the ability to do what we do, and to be able to, and like, I mean, it's crazy. Like to know that what we do in some weird way matters, and
it's so weird.
It does not compute for me, but it's just,
right.
It's like short circuit. I mean, it's that whole, like, thanks, I'm bad with compliments, so like, it's just, but no, I'm so excited for what's going to happen. And we want to make sure that this episode is, easy for people to be able to see. So if you guys have made it this far into it, and if you see people, in the comments asking questions or things like that, I would encourage you to share this link.
Yeah.
Make sure that people know, like, hey, like they explained everything. Also, if there's any questions that were asked that, wasn't a part of your list of questions for you personally, ask them on this video.
Yep.
We'll talk about it. We'll answer it to the best of our ability. We can have the ability to even, take some shorts on, the detour, and be like, hey guys, like this is just a real quick thing of just like, so there's some reiteration.
I know, when I asked, I was like, are we allowed to do that? And you're like, it's our content. And I was like, I don't know. Like,
I'm looking at it more so like in the idea that, just like, if there's a question that comes up, we can just take a video of ourselves real quick.
Yeah.
But again, if we want to multi-purpose this podcast and use it in any way, we can. And like, that's the whole idea of that. It's like, we don't have anybody telling us what to do. And that's the
don't tell me what to do.
It's like, I don't know. It's, in a way, I kind of feel like it's like, yeah, they done fucked up, dude. Like, it's like, we're going to do whatever we want.
You gave me some power. You done fucked up.
So, man, I'm stoked about it. We do have 2 more videos that are uploaded and scheduled, and High on Life will be after those 2 episodes. So, as far as days and stuff, we're working on, some consistencies. Yeah. So I think the next one's coming out on Saturday.
Yeah.
And then Tuesday is the other upload that's going to be coming up.
That's just going to be more so of a, hey, this is kind of what happened tonight, but a very, very brief, just few minute thing. Like, content is coming as far as like, what we want to do, but it's just going to be a phone little vlog thing. It's not, we might even do it in the living room. We don't know yet. That'll be coming within, like he said, after that, it'll be kind of on its own like pace and time schedule. So
so I'm right now with how it's like, if we're uploading like on Tuesday, and then it might end up being like a Tuesday and like a Thursday upload or something. So, But that's also the other thing we're going to figure out too is time of day when you guys would like to see it, because we do have Scary Stories and the podcast come out at 5 p.m. every week on Friday and then on Sunday.
So yeah, we don't want to overlap anything.
So we're going to try to, do our best to like maybe try some afternoon upload, like some noon uploads or like a 3 p.m. upload or things like that. So,
one of those has got to stick, man. I feel like.
Yeah. So either that or it's just another day at 5 p.m.
Right.
So,
right.
So I mean, we there's a lot of doors that have been opened and we can try a lot of stuff. And we hope that you guys have enjoyed this podcast. We've just kind of bullshitted about just what's happening, and that's really that this is one of the ways that you get to have a behind the scenes look is the podcast. So get to hear our unedited conversations, so mistakes and all. So but nevertheless, Eric, is there anything that you would like to say to the audience before we officially sign off until next week?
Watch The Detour.
Watch it, subscribe. You're gonna see some good stuff, guys. We love you, and we will see you next time. Adios.